Hello, my name is Susan Walker, and
Hi,
I am an author.
hi, Susan. Jasmine, we would love to get started and invite you to the Women Thrive Live with one of our speakers from Women Thrive Summit. So I'm excited that you're joining us here today for an interview with one of our speakers. Do drop in the comments below, let us know where you're joining us from. And today we're going to be talking about body esteem, piece of cake, and peace of mind with Susan Walker. Susan, welcome to Women Thrive Live. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me, Ramonda.
I'm thrilled to have this conversation because today we're talking about body image, self confidence, eating disorders, and just to empower women in really feeling good in their bodies without perhaps compromising that piece of cake that they might be craving, right? And
Mhm.
Susan, you're of course the expert in this area. Now, I would love for you to introduce yourself to our audience today.
Okay. I'm Susan Walker. I'm a psychotherapist. I've been in practice at the Walker Wellness Clinic, which my husband and I own. We had a clinic in Houston and Dallas. I'm also the author of the book, as Ramonda mentioned, Body Esteem, Piece of Cake, and Peace of Mind. I love doing speaking engagements and trying to provide my audiences with really good psychoeducational facts that they can apply to their life. I decided to write my book after being in the field of psychology and specializing with eating disorders and other comorbid diagnoses like depression, anxiety, stress, also things like ADD, ADHD. We know for a fact that if you are working out regularly, that it does improve your body image. It decreases stress, anxiety, depression, and it also improves your self esteem and your self efficacy. And if you're concerned about later in your life developing something like Alzheimer's or dementia, the beauty of exercising is it helps prevent some of these illnesses. So I will talk about in this short presentation a little bit about what entails the body esteem quotient. You've probably heard of intellectual quotient, IQ, and what's really in vogue, especially the last 10 or 15 years, is emotional quotient, your EQ.
Mhm.
I decided to develop a concept called body esteem quotient. And body esteem quotient contains four things: your nutrition quotient, number one; number two, exercise quotient; number three, fashionista; and more importantly, your psychology quotient. And incorporating all four of these concepts over time, one can build enormous self esteem, self confidence, and more importantly, body esteem. They feel
Yeah.
comfortable in the skin they're in.
Yeah. Susan, that's amazing. And I love that. And I just received actually a few days ago the copy of your book. And just before we came on to our interview, I was just saying how easy it is to digest it and also how practical it is. And, I've read many, many books on mindset and, different areas, but I think what this is so good, it's like giving somebody a guidebook, especially if somebody is struggling with their self-image, body
Mhm.
image, and eating disorders. This book literally addresses all the areas that women might be struggling with. What really inspired you to write this book?
I think the most inspiring thing, Ramonda, was that when I was a young woman, I suffered from a disease called endometriosis, which is in the reproductive system. I had chronic pain. And at the age of 21, I had to have a full hysterectomy. I've had a total of 8 surgeries. And since I could not have children, as you can imagine,
Mhm.
it was devastating when I first got that news. But I enrolled in lots of psychotherapy and overcame that. I have decided that I am doing others a grave disservice if I don't share my knowledge. This is my area of specialty. I feel like we're so far behind in terms of research and what's going on in this field. Eating disorders in, continue to rise in the United States. So I felt like my legacy could be to others. I couldn't have a child, but what I can do is inspire others, especially children, adolescents, and young adult at a very young age. You can't start too young with building and fostering self-esteem and body esteem. And I think that's the reason that I wrote it. I wanted my legacy to be that I helped other people feel comfortable in their own skin and have better body image, which leads to body esteem. So that was my reason for writing it.
Yeah. Tell me about the name. So, piece of cake and peace of mind. What's the inspiration behind the title of the book?
Okay. Over the years, in being in private practice and working with patients, I've noticed that a lot of women have enormous shame and guilt. And we know now from the
Mhm.
research that if you have excessive guilt, it is a symptom of depression. It used to not be on the depression inventory scales, but guilt leads to depression and stress and anxiety. So there was a study done in Australia with girls and women, and when they would taste something that was a simple carbohydrate, like a cupcake or an ice cream cone, they experienced enormous shame and guilt afterwards. When I talk about have a piece of cake and have peace of mind, no more shame and guilt. Yes, we want accountability. We want to eat with a mindful approach. But at the end of the day, the more you deprive yourself of the things you love, the greater the likelihood is of binging and
Mm.
overindulging and developing emotional eating.
Yeah, and it's so, so important, to have that healthy balance that you don't shame
Mhm.
yourself for having a piece of cake or piece of chocolate. It's part of life, right? And it's not going to break the bank, so to speak. So let us know how you're enjoying this conversation with Susan today. If you're joining us live, please leave a comment below. And if you're watching this on replay, let us know #replay. If you haven't got a copy of Susan's book, it's called Body Esteem, Piece of Cake and Peace of Mind with Susan Walker. And Susan will be speaking at the Women Thrive Summit. So, what I'm really excited to do today is invite you to register your spot for the Women Thrive Summit. And this is our annual virtual women empowerment event that happens once a year. And this year is happening 16th to the 20th of March. And this is an incredible event, a week long live but virtual event that's happening online. So all you have to do is head over to womenthrivesummit.com and register for your spot. At this annual event, we have more than 50 amazing speakers from all around the world who are going to be joining and delivering their talks at this event. This is such a great opportunity for you, for our audience to be part of something so special, to get together, to celebrate. This is Women's History Month, International Women's Day. This is such a great opportunity to be part of something bigger, an event that really celebrates women and shares, real stories, real experiences from women with different backgrounds. So I think this is just so imperative for us to have these conversations and be part of this event. So do make sure you register for your spot. Now, let's get back to Susan. Oh, I think, Susan, we lost you there for a second. So I just reminded people where to go and
I
grab
knew.
their tickets for the Women Thrive Summit.
Okay, wonderful.
So tell me a little bit more about the work that you're doing and also, how you've been able to impact women's lives so far.
Okay. I feel like the work that I do, it's an investment in yourself. I sometimes say to adolescents, this is Susan Walker 101. And I feel like if you start early on as a mother, as a grandmother, as an aunt, uncle, teaching your children how to validate their own self esteem, then they will learn to validate their own body esteem. If you go shopping, for example, know thy own body. Do not allow the salesperson or your husband or your girlfriend or a significant other to tell you how to dress. I want you to have such body confidence and become your own stylist and the curator of your closet that you don't need a second opinion. You can validate your body esteem when it comes to dressing. You learn to forecast your best features. If you have a tiny waistline and you love it, or you have giraffe long, beautiful legs, showcase them. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's a tendency, Ramonda, to focus on the negativity when it comes to body image, that we are so self-critical of specific regions that we start naming them. And it's almost like body shaming, my thunder thighs or my muffin top. I want to do away with all of that terminology. Communication, I think, is key in fostering self-esteem and body esteem. The way you talk to yourself And by the way, people who talk to themselves or talk out loud are considered
Yeah.
highly intelligent. So I think I'll start doing that. But at any rate, the more that you can do that, I've noticed with my patients when I'm doing speaking engagements or book signing, when people can lock into that, their life is changed dramatically. They are unstoppable. Their self-esteem soars. People can say anything and everything about their appearance or their body, doesn't faze them because they know their own body. They know themselves. They don't need validation for others. They give it to themselves. And I think that's a beautiful gift to give to people.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, Susan, that's so, so important. I think for, for women to be reminded of this message, talk to yourself in a positive way, see the best of you. Because as you said, we look at ourselves in the mirror and
Mhm,
sometimes are just so critical. And let's talk about one more thing, which is
mhm,
aging as well. Aging is beautiful. And I just want to say that when I see women in their older age and they really shine and they really embrace it, I see the beauty in it. And I just want to remind women to also love the process, because you're going
mhm,
into a different chapter of your life that is more of the wisdom chapter, you know?
mhm. Absolutely. I mean, the second act, and I'm in the second act, I'm 66 years old, or 66 years young. I have a chapter in my book called Doing a Number on Yourself, Ramonda. And as
Mm,
women, we tend to be very self deprecating when it comes to our age, our weight, our size of clothing. And I'm asking women, be in touch with your body. If things start to be a little bit snug, maybe add a little bit more exercise. Don't go on chronic dieting things, but be in touch with your body. But also, do not do a number on yourself where you're so punitive. Self punitive behaviors do lead to stress, anxiety, and depression. So, if you gain a few pounds during the holiday season, or you've had a baby, like you've just had a lovely little daughter, be
yeah.
tender with your emotions. Don't rush the process. You'll get there. I
Mm,
During my surgeries over the years, Ramonda, I have my weight has fluctuated due to scar tissue, bloating, all kinds of things. So instead of beating myself up, I've decided to nurture my body, take care of it when it's not as well as it needs to be. I don't force myself to exercise if I'm unwell. And my husband's an exercise physiologist. He does not recommend working out if you're sick. So pause, listen to your body, listen to your
mm,
needs, and don't push yourself so aggressively. And don't be
yeah.
self deprecating. Celebrate yourself, celebrate your beautiful body. Be your own kind of beautiful.
I love that. Some friends of mine asked me after I gave birth, like, "Oh, did you go back to your normal weight after baby?" I was like, "I don't know. I haven't been on the scales. I don't care to check."
For you. Yeah. Enjoy that baby girl. Why focus on the scales? You have a newborn, lovely little daughter.
Oh, leave me
I love
alone.
that.
Seriously, I
Yeah.
will indulge in that piece of cake and the chocolate because, in
I
my
love
case,
it.
I'm still breastfeeding, so ultimately, I have to make sure I've got enough nutrition. But I think, just fostering that mindset of you live once, you live for you, as long as you embrace a healthy lifestyle that nourishes you, your soul, your body, from a place of love and real nourishment, not from a place of,
Mhm,
oh my God, I need to lose that pound. How much of
mhm.
a difference is that pound going to make in your life, quality of your life?
Exactly. Mhm. Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And usually the answer is, I don't think it would change my life very much at all, you know?
Yeah. And, that's you depriving yourself of a meal or something like that. So,
Mhm.
Susan, we're going to extend this conversation much further at the Women Thrive Summit in March. What can people expect from your talk?
I hope that what people take away is, again, some practical guidelines on if you're a mother, an aunt, uncle, grandmother, great grandmother, you probably know someone in your life that struggles with body image. We say 80% of women have body dissatisfaction. My goal is to help you embrace your body esteem. If you need to tweak some things, let's say your blood work's a little off, you're insulin deficient or resistant, just maybe cut back on the work with a dietitian, cut back on things that may be causing that. It's not all written in stone. I think it will be an opportunity to embrace your body image, foster more self-esteem, and learn to be
Oh, we're losing Susan again. Okay. Okay, we lost you there for a second, but remind us what day your talk is at the Women Thrive Summit. Can you hear us, Susan? Okay. I'll just wait a second for Susan to come back. But what I want to do is remind you to make sure you head over to womenthrivesummit.com, register for your spot. So Susan will be sharing more in her talk about body confidence, body image, and making sure that you walk away feeling empowered, uplifted, confident, and supported in your journey, no matter where you are today. And of course, alongside Susan, there's going to be many, many other amazing speakers at this event virtually. So you can join from anywhere in the world. And all of the speakers have prepared some amazing goodies for your digital gifts and that you'll be able to download and participate in the summit fully. Susan, are you excited about doing a talk at the Women Thrive Summit?
I am thrilled. I feel so fortunate to have met you and Abigail and the lovely ladies. We have our meetings every Wednesday. I have been so inspired by their stories, their career development path. I am thrilled. And thank you for choosing me as one of your guest speakers. I consider it such an honor and privilege to be a part of the Women Thrive Summit and just the organization in general. I've learned so much from everyone, and it's so inspirational. After I speak to these ladies, I'm on fire. I'm motivated. So you're going to love listening to these other women. They're outstanding, extraordinary.
I love it. Susan, you're such a great addition. And I don't think we've covered this particular subject in as much detail as we're going to cover during the summit. So I just want to invite whoever is getting to listen to this to share this. You never know who might need to hear this information, this guidance. And, I just want to remind everyone the book that Susan has written and just what a great tool this is for anyone who might be struggling with body confidence or eating disorders. This is such a great, practical, inspiring book that maybe you, maybe your niece, maybe your daughter or son, whoever needs to have access to this information, I definitely recommend you grabbing the copy of this book. Susan, where do people connect with you?
You can find me on social media, on Instagram, Facebook. You can also find me on TikTok and LinkedIn. If you want to look at my book, you can go to my website, which is bodyesteem.com. Again, that's bodyesteem.com. If you want to learn more about me as a professional, you can go to our clinic, walkerwellness.com, and that will give you more background about what we do in our profession.
Amazing. So great to have you here today. Thank you for sharing your information and wisdom with our audience today. And we will be back with more amazing speakers leading up to the event. So make sure you tap into more interviews with our speakers from 2026 Virtual Summit. Susan, thank you so much for being here, and we look forward to seeing you at the summit.
Thank you, Ramonda. It was a pleasure.
Great to have you here. Thanks to all of you listeners today, and make sure you share this live with some of your friends. Take care for now. Bye-bye.